whether we're still young
But retirement comes before you know it. So what's the plan?
The plan is to work 1, 2, 3 jobs.
or in our golden years. We all need to think about retirement.
To me, you don't retire from something, you retire to something.
On today's show, retirement through the generations. We all need to think about retirement. It doesn't matter if we're 17 and just starting out or 70 and still working. Retirement looms ahead for all of us. From boomers to Gen Z, today we're going to look at how the R word affects each generation. To start with, I wanted to talk to Natasha Knox, principal at Alafia Financial Wellness. I've asked her to walk me through the realities of retirement from the perspective of different generations. Is it ever too early, and is it ever too late? Good morning, Natasha.
Hey Carmen, how's it going?
Fabulously well. I'm so happy to meet you live and in person.
Likewise.
So can you elaborate a little bit on what you mean by financial wellness?
I define financial wellness as when you take the knowledge of what to do and you couple it with the ability to execute emotionally and behaviorally and relationally on that knowledge. And so when those things are working in harmony, that's when you have real financial wellness.
How prepared are we for retirement?
I see a range, and so some of the conversations that I'm having are around lifestyle and choices and trade-offs. Some of the things that we have to talk about are exactly when can you retire. So sometimes working an extra year or two actually makes a really big difference. Can I retire? Can I put in my notice? And I have to look at certain what ifs and sort of give them an evaluation so they can start preparing.
Being income optional at 65 is the dream for every retiree. Baby boomers are the closest to that reality, so we wanted to find one who has worked his whole life to be ready to retire. At 65, Tim Lambert has put aside his corporate job as the CEO of the Egg Farmers of Canada, but that doesn't mean that he stopped working.
When did you start thinking about retirement?
You know, it was almost as soon as I started working.
What are you the most grateful for having thought of it back then?
It allows you to fulfill your passions and contribute. To me, you don't retire from something, you retire to something.
Will that create a big shift in your lifestyle, like in a year or two?
You do start to think differently because you're never going to have probably the same earning potential.
Right.
And the money you have, the investments you have now has to last the rest of your life.
Do your children and you talk about their concerns about when they reach retirement?
So all three of my kids are millennials. And, you know, I had a job when I graduated from university. They didn't. Striving to buy a home, let alone setting aside money for retirement, is extremely difficult. And in my extended family, like, they always helped us out through the years financially. And we do the same with our kids. I mean, it's sort of like a living will almost.
What do you tell your kids?
Every 2 weeks or every time you get paid, even if it's a little bit, put it aside, especially in a TFSA, tax-free savings account. But every pay period, you'll never miss that money.
No.
Just a little bit, a little bit, a little bit.
Tim is a great example of a boomer who's got retirement all figured out. But what about those of us who might have left it too late or never had the opportunity to save as much as we think we might need? I wanted to ask Natasha more about the options that person might have.
That's where working a few more years can really help out. In addition to retirement savings, if people have them, to whatever degree they have them. For some people, the equity in their home may be necessary, but also OAS, Old Age Security, and CPP are two very meaningful parts of people's retirement income streams that are 100% inflation protected for life. You can't outlive it. So it's really important.
The two public pillars of the Canadian retirement system are Old Age Security and the Canada Pension Plan. Old age security is available to every Canadian over 65. In 2024, the monthly payment is $713 a month. The amount received by the Canada Pension Plan, however, is based on how much money you've earned while working in Canada. Since starting your first job, a percentage of every dollar you've earned has been contributed automatically to the CPP as part of your taxes. The total amount you've contributed over your working career will determine your benefit. The average Canadian will receive an additional $758 a month from CPP. But depending on your work history, that number could be as high as $1,300 or as low as $0.
One of the things that I look at is what are the optimal ages to start cobbling together that retirement income stream. So, for instance, if you have savings like RSPs and so on, when is the optimal age to RIF it? What is the optimal age for you for old age security? So old age security, many people don't know, you can actually defer it. So each month that you defer it, you actually get an additional 0.6%. So if you defer it all the way till 70 on old age security, you get 36% more.
That's significant.
It is significant. CPP is even better. If you delay taking CPP, you get 0.7% per month. So 42% more if you delay all the way till age 70. And so depending on if people have the means to wait it out, that can actually really move the needle to help them out.
Natasha and Tim took us through retirement from the perspective of a boomer. But for many millennials, some of whom are nearly 40, retirement seems a far-off dream.
I want kids, I want home, and I'm actually thinking I want groceries.
Today we're looking at retirement through the generations. In our last segment, we spoke with financial advisor Natasha Knox about how boomers are preparing for retirement. But the landscape for millennials, often the children of baby boomers, will be completely different. In a recent study, Deloitte Canada defined being retirement ready as not only owning your own home, but also having upwards of $900,000 in savings. But the generation that would typically be buying their first homes are finding themselves priced out in Canada's largest cities. So how do you start planning for retirement when one of the building blocks, home ownership, might be out of reach? Tell me a little bit more about that 30-something client. What's their fear when they come to you?
Some of them are trying to juggle childcare and mat leave, maybe buying a house or upgrading their house.
Matty is a working millennial in Vancouver. I met him near his apartment in English Bay. Matty, how old are you?
I'm 38.
So you're a millennial, is that?
I'm what they call an elder millennial.
So it's time for you to get serious, being an elder.
Yes, exactly.
Retirement.
Yes.
Are you thinking about it?
You know what? I'm thinking more about my present space right now. I want kids. I'm thinking more I want home. And I'm actually thinking I want groceries.
So you have a lot of steps to go before you even think about retirement.
Yes.
You're young, you work, you're worried about basic life expenses, but retirement comes before you know it.
Yes.
You know, so what's the plan?
The plan is to work 1, 2, 3 jobs. I think that's a normal millennial thing. You've got your main job. That's the, the basics. I actually don't understand the education around what retirement means. I've never been educated on when you retire, you should have this.
Time to do a little more math. Maddie is 38 and lives in Vancouver. According to the 2021 census, the median income for his age group is $65,000 a year. To retire comfortably, experts suggest that you should have at least 10 times your income saved. That would make the magic number $650,000. How do you get there? A common rule of thumb is to save a minimum of 10% of your gross income every year. In this case, that's $541 a month. Let's look at the breakdown. $541 at 5% interest would leave you with $355,000 at retirement. That's barely half of our magic number. To get there, our 38-year-old would need to start saving $930 a month. And if they waited until 50, they would need to sock away a whopping $2,500 a month. Now, what if our average Vancouverite were more like Tim, who started saving on his first job? If they saved $541 a month for 47 years, they would have $921,000 at retirement. With retirement, it pays to start early.
Always remember hearing, oh, you have to save for a rainy day, but they should be more specific.
Yeah.
Because it's always raining, or one way or another. You have to save for retirement.
Yeah.
Because aging is expensive. And until you experience what that's like, you really don't understand what expensive means.
And I think for some people, it's not that they don't realize it. It's that they're overwhelmed by the gap between where they are and where they think they may need to be, and probably do need to be. And they don't know how to bridge that gap. And maybe the gap can be bridged, maybe it can't, but definitely they can improve, right? Yeah. You can get, maybe you're not going to get here, but you can go from here to here. And that's still going to put you in a much better position.
We'll be back talking more about retirement. But first, our regular segment with Chef Julian Bond. He's back in the kitchen with healthy, affordable, and Zoomer-friendly recipes.
Hi everybody, welcome to Granville Island here in the heart of Vancouver. One of the busiest food markets in North America, but it's also one of the best. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? So here we have a specialty bird. We're going to take this and we're going to do 3 dishes. It's amazing how you can take a whole bird, cut it apart, many uses, one bird. A chicken is a fantastic source of protein, but whether you grab one from the grocery store already roasted or you want to roast your own, there's many uses you can do with that one bird besides just munching it as a roast chicken. And the cuts you can get from that, the dishes you can get from that. We've got, obviously, drumsticks. Thighs have the most flavor. You can dice it up, throw it on a salad, arugula, tomato, avocado. Fantastic, simple and easy. Or you can shred the breast and make what I'm gonna do today, which is a lovely potato and chicken pancake with sour cream. I'm gonna take our leftover mashed potatoes, add chicken, a couple more ingredients, and it's gonna be tasty. Now, when you do this, if you made a really soft mashed potato, it won't work, but these ones are quite dry. And here's my chicken, and all I'm gonna do is just shred it. Just pull it apart, nice and slow. And into that, chopped parsley. Some of my chives. I'm gonna save some for garnish. An egg. And when you are cracking an egg and putting an egg in anything, always crack your egg in a side dish. Never directly into the bowl, in case you get shell or anything else in there. And then you're going to mix. Now I can judge my consistency. So it's quite dry, which I like personally, but I'm gonna add a little bit of sour cream, acidity and flavor. This is full fat sour cream. And thyme is quite strong, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of thyme, and I like to add it at the end. And all you do is form them and pat them. Just shape them all rough, and that's perfect, just like that. But always preheat your pan. Do you see how the viscosity of the oil changes almost right away? My pan's hot, so I don't have to wait. And in we go. And your garnish, well, we put sour cream in there. We're gonna add lots of chives. Chicken and potato pancakes. Simple, easy, and delicious.
I just want to not only just be successful financially, but also hopefully give back to my community in the future.
We're talking about retirement from the perspective of different generations. I've been talking to financial advisor Natasha Knox about the retirement issues of boomers and millennials. We've already seen an early start can set you up for a lifetime of financial success. So, how do we talk to our kids about money? So as a mom of 4,
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a lot of personal experience on how to teach children about money. What could you tell parents?
So one of the things that I often see is the impact of the messages around money that they absorbed as children and internalized when they were quite young. Don't make it invisible. Don't make it something that you never talk about, because I then work with those adults who have gaps. They know that things were okay, but they actually have no insight into how the conversations were navigated, how things were structured, how disagreements were resolved. They have no insight and therefore no skills for themselves.
One young man that seems to have his whole financial future mapped out is Marston Sequeda. Videographer Dean Atwell went to learn how he's preparing for his future.
So the difference between my parents' generation financial literacy and my financial literacy, they didn't have the resources, they had to learn everything themselves or have connections, whereas now my age as a Gen Z individual, I have platforms such as YouTube, organizations such as Junior Achievement to learn about financial literacy compared to my parents.
He loved accounting, so basically it's my eldest brother who's also had accounting in his field, and he got probably the genes from them. I used to take him always wherever I went and to pay the bills, and also when I went to deposit monies in my accounts and withdraw money, so he was always around me, so that was one thing he got to know.
According to a recent report from Goldman Sachs Asset Management, younger generations, specifically Gen Z, are far more confident in their ability to reach their retirement goals. For Surrey student Marston Sequeda, access to NGO programs like the Juniors Achievement of BC is crucial to his financial future.
JABC is an organization that provides workplace readiness, financial literacy skills, and entrepreneurship to youth across BC.
How's the virtual program?
Yeah, it's pretty good, man.
Marston's involved in one of our company programs, the virtual company program. Marston from the get-go was somebody who actually stood out in the group of 15 students or so as somebody that was willing to step up, to lead, and to engage and contribute. And that's something that's really special.
So as the sales go up.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Doing well, man. Thanks.
Good to see you. Joe, what is it about retirement for your generation? Why are you so invested in retiring sooner than later and also taking a more active role than previous generations?
I just want to not only just be successful financially, but also hopefully give back to my community. I think Junior Achievement has done an amazing job of providing these resources, and it's helped me develop my business skills and use those skills that I've learned from the organization to my daily life as an aspiring business owner.
Marston is a very serious young man, and something tells me he'll have retirement figured out long before I ever did. Next, we bring together Tim and Maddie to see if one generation can learn from the other. Are you going to start saving for retirement? Yes or no? Today, we've seen how people from 3 different generations are preparing for retirement. We met Tim, a recently retired boomer, and Maddie, an older millennial who hasn't spared much thought for his golden years. What I didn't tell you is that Tim and Maddie are father and son. I decided to bring them together to see if the wisdom of one generation will filter to the next. You started saving right outside of university.
Yeah.
This generation is not worried at all about the future, and I just wonder if maybe they should worry a little bit more.
Or we should worry a little bit less.
They seem to be doing it right. Has this exercise changed your perception on what you may need to do to just make sure that you are comfortable in your old age?
It made me prioritize what my goals are. And I now have a very clear agenda. And whatever that looks financially, I can't know. I don't know what's going to happen 5 years down the road, but I have a better idea of what my goals are.
I worry about the younger kids.
I do too. Although it's good to hear they don't worry so much. Although they
Well,
worry. Doing some worrying. But
No.
there's no point in worrying about things outside your sphere
control.
of influence.
And that's been
or
something you've
control.
always said. If you can't worry about things outside of your control and live with what you have, appreciate it, and do with it what you can.
Are you going to start saving for retirement? Yes or no?
After I have kids?
After you have kids.
Yes.
Good.
After I have
That's
children?
a yes.
Yes.
I'll take that as a yes.
Yes.
Well done, Dad. I am so glad that we had a chance to talk today. And I know we could just dive deeper, but I think that you've given us some, really meaningful, thought-provoking tips. I'm very grateful.
Well, I'm very grateful that you invited me out.
Yeah, and look at this.
Yeah, it's glorious.
Who needs an office?
Yeah, indeed.
Well, that's just about it for the show. But we can't leave without a final word from Carpe President Rudy Boutignon.
Hello, I'm Rudy, President of the Canadian Association of Retired Persons. A word about retirement planning. The experts say it's never too early to start. In fact, one should start planning for retirement on the first day of your first job. One of the biggest concerns for senior adults is outliving their savings. That's why one of Carpe's top 5 priorities is financial security for older adults. Specifically, we're fighting for changes to mandatory withdrawals from RRSPs because a lot of our members and a lot of seniors in general want to continue working or they have to. As well, we're fighting for increases on the guaranteed income supplement. For more information about financial security, check out carpe.ca and become a member. Join the community.
And that's the show. Remember, as our Carpe chairman Moses Neimer always says, the best way to keep going is to keep going. So carpe diem and seize your day.